So the dirty little secret no one tells you, when you finally attain your dream car, you are not the first one to drive it. Mike is. Meet Mike.
Hello.
So Mike, what are we doing today?
Today we are doing a PDI on your brand new GT3 Touring.
Now what does that mean? What specifically are we doing?
So that's the pre-delivery inspection. We basically go ahead and we unwrap the car, take it out of transportation mode that the manufacturer puts it in, and then from there we'll test drive it and verify that there's no faults or concerns in the system before you pick it up. And then from there it goes through our detail process and then eventually into your hands.
So what are some specific things you're looking for? Like, the viewers already saw you go through every piece of the car. What are like 3 big things you did when we first got it off the truck to driving it now?
So the first couple things we do before we hand it over is we do just a general inspection. We check for damage during transportation. We'll unwrap the car, take the films or cloth that it comes shipped in, and then we'll do a general programming and fault scan.
So I also noticed that you guys went through the underside of the car and we did find some damage, didn't we?
Correct, we did.
And what are we doing about that?
That will go through our transportation warranty claims. At that point, we'll order whatever part is necessary to get the car 100% factory and unbroken back into your hands.
So can I keep that damaged piece and like use it as wall art at my house?
If Porsche does not request it back, we are absolutely more than welcome to take it.
Okay, so I'm gonna make the official request because I'm definitely gonna put that up on the wall in my hangar.
Yeah, it's the
Oh, Mike, you stole my car.
Yes,
it's bad enough. This is like you having sex with my wife or girlfriend.
Very true. The Porsche clutches on these newer GT3s, they're assisted, so they're not, you don't get any clutch feedback like you normally do on an older 911. So getting used to them, it's very finicky is the best way to put it.
Actually, tell the audience what you said to me, unsolicited, I want to point out.
Yeah, the build itself, outside of most of our other clientele that spec their vehicles, this is a very, very well done and very beautifully spec'd GT3 Touring. It's very much so classy that you don't suspect it to be a GT3. You consider it to be more of a 911 at first glance.
So are you the guy that does all the preps for the GT3s and GT2 RSs and that kind of stuff? Is that your job?
No, so every technician in the shop, regardless of their what they do, is a bumper-to-bumper and new car technician. We make it to where it's where we would want our moms to drive it.
I don't think your mother would be driving a car like this.
My mom wouldn't.
Yeah.
My dad would, though.
Dad would, absolutely, yeah. My dad, too. I remember one time when I first fell in love with Porsches, we were on a cruise, we were driving around the canyons, and this very attractive older woman, like fit almost grandma, gets out of a GT3 RS.
Yeah, we do.
And I walked up to her and I'm like asking her about the car, and I didn't want to come out and say, hey, is this really your car? Is this your husband's car? And turns out it is hers. She picked it out, she spec'd it, she's the only one that drives it. And I fell to my knees, I'm like, will you marry me? Okay, so now talk to me as we get up to speed here. You had this wrench that is almost the length of this car. What do you use that for?
That's our big 4-foot torque wrench. We use that for torquing down the wheels on the center locks. And the center locks get torqued down to 440 foot-pounds.
And in comparison to other wheels, where does that stand?
So our standard Porsches, be it our standard 5 lugs on the 911s or the Macan, Panamera, those will get torqued to 118 foot-pounds.
Oh, quite a difference.
Very much so a difference.
And does it make a difference whether the rotors are metallic or carbon ceramic?
No. From the 2-piece carbon ceramics to the steel rotors, all the wheels get torqued to 440 foot-pounds. Even when we do a tire change, we'll take them off, we'll clean the grease that is their factory, and we'll apply new grease and we'll torque it, and that's our torque rate of value across the board.
Now, what are some failures that you would be looking for in the PDI? You said you're looking to do, like, you took the spacers out of the front suspension, which thank you gave to me as like a memento. I'm gonna keep them. And then you put on the front shin spoiler. Those are standard items, but what are some things that would be like an error or fault you would be looking for?
So there's times out of production and development, as you've seen, that we get some cars that come with incorrect front spoilers, or we get cars that come with small screw hardware that is missing for the front shin spoiler, and things of that nature. And now while we're going through the drive process, we're making sure there's no electrical faults with the suspension. We're making sure that the motor performs well through its ranges during the drive, make sure the transmission shifts properly, and then there's no abnormal noises during steering or going through a different variety of road textures.
Is there any more attributes or aspects you're looking for in a GT car as opposed to a serial production Porsche?
So versus the serial production Porsches and the GTs, we generally go through and do the same drives up until Porsche came out with the new braking procedures on their motors that are that'll tell you when you start the car to adhere to engine braking conditions or engine running conditions. We generally go through the entire system. We'll do a small launch control test to make sure your launch control functions.
And would you do the same thing on like a certified pre-owned program where Porsche gives an extended warranty to it?
Correct. We do all the same things from our new cars to our used cars.
We're running the car kind of naked without that shearing plate underneath the back.
Correct.
What's the manufacturer's purpose for that, other than, say, aerodynamic airflow?
So, other than aerodynamic airflow, it kind of acts as a skid plate because it is a rear engine and it's very low slung. You don't want any unsuspecting road debris, say if you're in the canyons or on the freeway, to damage your engine. So it plays its role as a skid plate and an engine guard all at the same time.
So driving it now in traffic, we're not really doing any damage to the engine.
Correct, no, because even our base 911s and stuff, even down the 718s, come with no under tray for the engine.
I gotta tell you this, seeing it without that cover, the exhaust manifolds are beautiful.
Yeah,
like they're a piece of artwork.
Yeah, Porsche really puts everything out doing the GT cars.
Are those titanium?
They're not titanium. They are a stainless that Porsche has. I forget the actual terminology of it.
Those are stainless.
Correct.
God, they're exquisite. I want to put those on the wall along with that shearing plate we pulled off the back of the car.
I treat every new Porsche, even like yours, like it's a gift to myself.
Yeah.
It comes in, I unwrap it, I get to play with all the little buttons and switches and knickknacks first, and then I think of it as, hey, it's my car. I opened it up, I unwrapped it, and I'm letting the owner borrow it.
So it's very mighty kind of you, Mike. I really appreciate that.
Because if I treat it as if it's mine and I respect it, it'll come back to me, and the owner will be happy, and he'll continue to bring his service back to me.
So how long have you been working here?
At Porsche Santa Clarita, I will be going on 3 years in February.
And from what I understand, you were at another Porsche store.
Correct. I was at Porsche Woodland Hills for 2.5 years before this.
Oh, you don't even look that old to have been doing this long.
No, I'm the ripe young age of 31.
Wow. Wow, and you get to play with Porsches for a living. I feel terrible for you.
Well, it beats my last job.
Which was what?
I was in the Army.
You are the second person I've met here at Porsche Santa Clarita that's been in the military.
Correct.
Your boss was in the Air Force.
Correct, and we have one other technician who's actively serving in the Army Reserves right now.
Well, that was awesome. Thank you so much for this, Mike. I really appreciate you taking not just the time to do this, but the care you put into it. I can see it as I've been working around you with the camera.
Yeah, it's very, very time consuming when you're at this level of trying to keep everything clean and classy, but it's worth it in the long end.
No pressure at all.
None.
Did your boss say some jackass is coming in today with cameras to show you, to watch you doing your work?
So actually, I've been prepared for this for the last week. They told me,
yeah,
hey,
we rescheduled a couple times.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we got a guy coming in. He's gonna come film his car. just be prepared for the cameras. I was like, it's no problem. Bo does it all the time.
Bo, man, he's Mr. Hollywood.
So,
Thank you so much. Appreciate
no problem.
it, Mike.
Thank you
so much. And thank you for your service.